ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਹਜ਼ੂਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਨਿਹਾਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸਨ। ਭਾਈ ਲਖਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਹਜ਼ੂਰੀ ਰਾਗੀ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਾਗੀ ਜਥਾ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਇੱਕ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਤੋਂ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਸੇਵਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਰਪਿਤ ਹਨ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਮਾਗਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਤਹਿਤ ਹੁਣ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਭਾਈ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਸੂਰਾ ਸਰਵਣ ਕਰਵਾਉਣਗੇ 2 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਉਚੇਚੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਅਟਾਰਨੀ ਜਨਰਲ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਰੌਬ ਬੋਂਟਾ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਹਨ। ਮੈਂ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਟੇਲ ਦੇਣੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਅਟਾਰਨੀ ਜਨਰਲ ਦੀ ਡਿਊਟੀ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸਿਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਜੋ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਪਾਵਰਫੁਲ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ। As a state chief law officer, like he is the one who basically manages all the district attorneys and all the law enforcement agencies. He is also the head of the Department of Justice. He's been appointed as California Attorney General last year and he'll be running for election next year. So he's very sensitive for all the hate crimes that happen in the society, and he is very committed to make sure that those hate crimes are being minimized. He is also very ambitious to make sure that there are police reforms happening. The reforms at the police are being carried out so that the excessive force is made sure that it's not being used. So the police is more humane. So these are his 2 main objectives that he is working on. From our Sikh community, we have some issues that which we have brought into his notice, especially about the hate crime against the Sikhs because of our unique identity. Also, for kids, they face bullying in schools, we face bullying in the working places, so those are very dear to us. Another main issue is about our articles of faith, especially the Quran. We want to make sure we want his help so that we can practice our religion freely in this free country. And our young kids also want that if some exceptions could be made so that we are not enforced to wear helmet. So these are the few things we have asked him to help us. And we are also very thankful to Inder Dosanjh who has helped us in arranging his visit. So now I would like Mr. Rob Bonta to come over the stage and address the congregation with his plans and how he can address the challenges we as a Sikh community who we are facing here. So I would introduce Mr. Rob Bonta. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Sorry. Oh. ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪੱਗ ਵੀ ਟਾਲੀ
ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।
ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਹਿਲਾ ਲਓ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕੋ ਪਿਕਚਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਅਖਬਾਰ ਤੇ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। And thank you for the very kind introduction. Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm honored to be here with all of you. Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. And let me first say thank you for the opportunity and honor for me to spend time with you today to hear from the Sikh community about the challenges we are collectively facing and how I can assist and partner and support you in those efforts. We had a very productive conversation earlier today, and I look forward to following through with action to make sure that you know and that you are safe and valued in the community as you are to me. I value you, I see you, I will fight for you, I will be your champion. And I want to just thank Inder Dosanjh for setting up the meetings today, my opportunity to spend time with you. So thank you, Brother Inder. I want to say a shout out to TJ Dami, as well as Councilmember Gary Singh for your leadership and your friendship. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to California State Assembly member for the 18th Assembly District, Oakland, Alameda, and San Leandro, Mia Bonta, who is here as well. She's my partner in life and my partner in service, and here with us as well. And again, it's an honor to join you, especially today, to celebrate the birth of Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak taught us that regardless of your religion, we are all God's children. May his lessons on equality and on goodness and virtue live on through each of us. Here in California, we do our best to live out those values every day. Our diversity is our strength. Diversity is not just something we tolerate, it's something we celebrate. It makes us who we are, it's our strength. We are proud to be home to the oldest, the largest, and the most vibrant Sikh communities in the United States. Sikh Americans are pioneers. This community, your community, leaves a lasting mark and has left a lasting mark and contributes so much to California and to our nation. You have led and continue to lead our economy into the future as entrepreneurs and business leaders. You have helped heal us, especially in the dark times of the pandemic, and protected us as doctors, as nurses, and as police officers. You have achieved success at the very highest levels, and as your Attorney General, I support you and I fight alongside you. I see my role as being the people's attorney, fight for everyday people, especially the most voiceless, the vulnerable, those who have been hurt, harmed, abused, overlooked, mistreated, and my goal is always to make sure everyone is treated with justice. So my goal and my action is to even the scales of justice for all community members, especially those who have been oppressed and who have been hurt. And these are values that I learned from my amazing parents, who were and are fierce forces for fairness, who marched in the Civil Rights Movement in Selma, who organized with the United Farmers of America, who, in my early days, I grew up in headquarters of the United Farmers of America movement in a special place called the Paz in the Central Valley. My parents fought for fairer working conditions and better wages for farm workers. So they showed me that everyday people working side by side can change the world, transform the world. And they worked with Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta and Philip Vera Cruz. And I was a young boy then, so I only have a few memories from those days. But most of all, what stuck out to me and what I remember are the lessons I learned about equality in our farm worker community. It didn't matter if your dad was Cesar Chavez or a migrant worker. It didn't matter if you were Filipino, Punjabi, Chicano, black or white. Everyone was there because of the mission. Everyone saw injustice in the world and wanted to fix it. That's why I decided to become a public attorney to fight for those who've been wronged and make sure that they realize justice. And like Sikh Americans, it's that fight for justice, the fight for all people, that motivates me today. I'm inspired by this community, the Sikh community, and the fights you led, your tenacity, from Punjab to San Francisco and beyond, in peacefully, successfully protesting for the rights of farmers. The fight you led over the last year is a bright example of the power of coming together, the power of the people, the power of solidarity and organization. And right now we need to come together to tackle the big challenges in our society, including the rise of hate. We have all seen the horrible images. Many of us, unfortunately, have experienced it firsthand. We have seen elders assaulted, businesses vandalized, and worshipers attacked. People being attacked and targeted because of who they are, where they're from, and how they pray. And there's no denying it. We can only call it what it is. We're in a full state of crisis, a full state of emergency when it comes to hate. And the Sikh community knows that all too well. It's not just now. It's been for years that the Sikh community has suffered. The murder of Balbir Singh Sodhi, the Oak Creek Gurdwara shooting. You have felt the forces of intolerance and hate for years. More recently, last year across California, hate crimes rose significantly, 31% across the board, with several reported anti-Sikh hate crimes. And we know how disturbing this is and how upsetting it is, and we also know that our statistics, unfortunately, they're not exhaustive, that hate crimes and hate incidents are underreported. So even though we see the rise, there are even more that have never been reported. So we're all in this together. We must tackle the rise of hate together. And I often think of Martin Luther King Jr. in this moment. That phrase from letter from a Birmingham City jail, our inescapable network of mutuality, our single garment of destiny, that we are interdependent on one another. We will rise together or not at all. And there's no us and them, there's only one big collective us that we're all a part of and all connected to. And so tackling hate has been a top priority for me. In the California Department of Justice, in my second week in office, I established the Racial Justice Bureau to fight back against the forces of hate throughout California. I issued new guidance and resources to make sure our district attorneys and law enforcement partners are investigating and identifying hate crimes as such to protect the victims, to protect all communities, including the Sikh community. I urge prosecutors to set up hate crime units to work with impacted communities to make sure they're safe and protected, and that when there are victims, they are allowed to heal, they are supported. And I launched our community awareness response and engagement team to work in the community, especially with communities that have always had a relationship with their Department of Justice, so we can fight with you, identify solutions, and co-create those solutions with you, and make sure that you are safe and treated fairly and justly. And we know that too many Californians are feeling pain, hurting, facing anxiety and fear. And I want you to know that at the California Department of Justice, we share the Sikh community's priority of making sure that our neighborhoods and our cities are safe, are healthy, and are prosperous. And I will stand with you. I will stand by your side. I value you. I see you, and I'll fight for you. As Californians, we may hold different identities, but our values are the same. We know that everyone deserves opportunity, that everyone deserves justice. So no matter where you're from, whether it's Punjab or Pennsylvania, Yuba City or Yukon, if you work hard and if you fight for justice, you can make a difference here in this incredible state, in this incredible country. And today we celebrate that difference. We celebrate our values of inclusion and diversity. And again, I want you to know that as your Attorney General, these are values that I will always defend. As your AG, I will always defend the Sikh community and use the full power and authority of the largest state Department of Justice in the nation to be by your side, to fight with you. So let me just say thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here with you. I feel very welcomed. I wish you a joyous celebration. Gurpurab Diya Lagla Badaya. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. Thank you for the kind words and the reassurance to combat hate and hate crimes. So we thank you all from our deep hearts for your fight, and we will stand with you. Let us know how we can be partners to combat this hate crimes. So now I would request our Supreme Council members, Gurdwara Sahib, to present him the memorable plaque to Mr. Rao. Jaswinder Singh Ji, Harpreet Singh Bains, by Rajinder Singh. Bole Soneha. And I would also request Mr. Indra Dosanjh to come over the stage and Guru Sahib Di Bakshish Sarapao by Indra Singh Dosanjh Malik. Sat Sri Akal. Mrs. Bonta, Assemblyman Mrs. Bonta. Bole Soneha. Bole Soneha. So once again, thank you, Mr. Rao and Assemblyman Mrs. Bonta for sparing time coming here and reassuring the congregation for all the challenges it's been facing. So, as I mentioned, partners with fighting all the crime that happening to our community. So एक बार फिर आप सारे का धन्यवाद और आप जी ਨੂੰ ਭਾਈ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਸੁਰਾ